Good morning, guys, and good morning to you. And guys, before I forget, let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you. Now today is September 29, 2024, and it is Sunday morning. And as you can see, it is a cloudy sky, and it rained last night or early this morning. And it was light rain, so not many puddle in the ground, but grass is wet. Bench is little bit wet. But guys, now let me tell you guys about something. I haven't made a UFC related video in a very long time. Not very long, but in some days, for maybe a few weeks, I have not made UFC video. And mainly because there is not much news in UFC, and then I did not get. There was one interesting fight last night, but I did not get time to make like a prediction video or anticipation video. But now I'm making the video. So guys, let me tell you first the fight. The name of the fight was Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. And this was an anticipated fight. Benoit Saint Denis is upcoming fighter. He lost his last fight to Dustin Poirier, which was surprise, but he was supposed to win this fight against Moicano. But Moicano beat him. But guys, that is not what I want to talk about. Not about Moicano win, but Moicano interview in Octagon with Michael Bisping, and some things he said about democracy and religion and globalist, and that is what I want to share my thoughts with you. Now, first of all, guys, let me tell you about religion. He said specifically about Jesus. He said Jesus is life or Jesus is light. Now, Moicano is not English speaking. English is not his first language, and English is not my first language. So he can say something that is hard to understand, and then I can hear something, and it is hard for me to understand English also. So I don't know if he said Jesus is light or if he said Jesus is life, but both statements are true. So that is that. That is what I have to say about Jesus and religion. And now let us talk about democracy. He said democracy is not a good system, but I think that is the best system we have. I know it may not be good system, but it is the best that we have. But I think certain changes can be made to the way people are allowed to vote and all that stuff. Now, guys, in this, as far as voting is goes, because voting is a big part of democracy. So now the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about who should be allowed to vote, I mean, in most countries where there is democracy, like in America, in Canada, in England, India. In these places, you have to be citizen of the country and have to be 18-year-old to vote. Now, Patrick Pat David made one video, and I hope you are aware of Mr. Patrick Pat David of Valuetainment channel. And he said that the more taxes you pay, the more say you should have in the government, which I agree with. And he said that if you pay more tax, you should have more votes. Now that is good solution, but that will never be implemented. They will not allow one person like Elon Musk to vote multiple times because he pay more tax, and some homeless guy who does not pay tax or makes no money, then they will both have equal rights in this current system that we have. So Patrick Pat David, his idea is very good, but I don't think it will be implemented. No, I also have my thoughts. I agree with Patrick Pat David, but my what I want to add is, and I don't think this will be implemented either. What I think is that 18-year-old is too young to decide to vote. I mean, to decide who should lead your country. At 18, you're barely out of the school. You have no idea. You have no clue. You have different view of the world. You've never been on your own. You've never had to make money, cook food, or do things like that. Things that pay tax or other things that adult people have to do. So 18 is too low voting age, in my opinion. I mean, in some country you can't even drink or get married at 18-year-old. So, and that is different topic. But I think that the minimum age for voting should be increased. and I think it should be around 32 or 35, because by that time you have some knowledge of the world, you have some experience, and you know what is good for you, what is good for society, your family, and your country. So maybe they should think about raising the minimum age for voting, and of course you have to be citizen of the country to vote. I mean, you can't just walk in to cross the border into any country, and or maybe take a flight and to some other country, and expect to have the right to vote. So guys, that is what my thoughts on democracy. Basically, be a little bit older, have little more experience before you are allowed to vote. And also Patrick Pat David idea that if you pay tax, then you should have a more say. The more tax you pay, the more weightage you should have as far as what goes, who your leaders are in the government. But that's it about democracy. Now my other thing that he said is he did not like globalization. Now I don't agree with that. I think globalization is very good for the world, for especially for people in not so fortunate countries, in like countries in Africa, in Asia, South Asia. It is good. I mean, with globalization and big companies, I mean, people don't like big companies, but we tend to forget, man. People forget, man. When big companies create opportunities, big company like YouTube, I'm uploading this channel on YouTube. YouTube is a big company. It is, I'm sure the boss of YouTube is making billion dollar. But then it is also giving billions of people opportunity to upload video and be creative and make some money. So big companies are good for people, I think, for common man. And globalization is also good for common man. It gives everyone, it makes the playing field as level as possible. I mean, everybody will not have the same opportunities, but with globalization, with big company, you get more opportunities than you would otherwise get. If there was if every country was just operating on its own without any globalization. So that is my thought, when big companies like YouTube, Microsoft, Amazon, these companies, they create job, they give opportunity, and I think that is good. So that is it. And then in these companies, it is people who work. So people, it is not the company fault, it is people fault if the work condition are sometimes um, not so good, you can say. So yeah, that is my thought about this. And then one more topic that I just want to say, because I saw some some signs in the city. I went to city a couple of days ago, and there was sign that and it was from immigrant or foreign students in Canada, and they said don't blame foreign student or immigrant for high prices, blame corporation and blame government and blame this and that. But they were, so it was like blaming other people but not accepting any responsibility for yourself. Like if you are international student or if you are immigrant, why did you come? You have to first think about that. Why did you come? And if you had good life back home, then why don't you return home? So that is just what I want to say. Don't come into another country, a developed country, good country, and try to change that country. I mean, when you come to different country, you're going to have to work hard. There will be many obstacles. And one good example of this is no, let me not talk about that. But I mean, it is good example in this. It's not good example, but this guy, he was very talented, so he became successful. And I'm talking about Francis Ngannou. He came to France illegally, but he had so much talent. He was such a freak of nature that he worked hard also, and he became, now look at him, Francis Ngannou is world famous fighter, he world champion boxer and MMA fighter, and he's make million money. But he started his journey, it was not a good way to start, but then he was lucky and then he paid his dues. But this kind of example, this is like one in a million kind of example. So don't follow this example unless you really have some great outstanding ability. So guys, that is my random thought this morning. And now you can see it is still cloudy morning, but now there is no wind and it is not cold. So that is good. And maybe I don't think it will rain now. Grass is still wet, sidewalk is wet, road is little wet. I hope it will be good day, and let's see. And I hope in your area, I must not forget that I hope that your area, your weather is good, and you had a good time yesterday with your family, and today also I hope you have good time. So now I want to end this video, and in the end I just want to say, have a good day, enjoy, and be happy. Okay? Okay then, toodle people.